A powerful feature in all versions of Toon Boom Harmony 12 are game bone deformers. Now, this is especially helpful for keeping file sizes down, as you can deform and distort drawings instead of always having to create new ones. I'm going to show you how to use the game bone deformers by working on the front arm. So I'll simply zoom in here, and I'll go up on the top of my view area, and I'm going to use the deformation panel. Now, if you don't see this, you simply right click in this area and make sure you select deformation. So what I'm going to click on is the rigging tool, and it's a little icon that has a wrench as well as a hammer. And if I look now at my tool properties, there are several options. There's automatic mode, there's bone mode, curve mode, envelope mode, as well as game bone mode. Now, if you're using Harmony Essentials, what you'll see is only bone mode and game bone mode. So what I want to select is the game bone mode. And what I want to do now is make sure I go to the front arm here. And I'm going to start creating different bones and joints. So I'll start at the shoulder, because this is where I want everything to rotate. And I'll simply click once. I'll come down to the elbow, and I'll click again. Now, if you see this little line here, that is the bone. And our little dots here are the joints or the articulators. So I'm going to click at the wrist, and then click all the way out to the hand. Now I'm going to zoom in. This little circle here is the articulator, and it's basically saying what area do we want to have distorted. So it's a good practice that you'll want this circle to actually touch both ends of the section you're distorting. Now you can enlarge this by simply clicking and dragging that out, or making it a little bit smaller. For now, I'm going to leave it at the default, and I am going to shrink the one at the wrist a little bit. Now, to test these out, I'm going to go away from my rigging tool and come down to my transform tool. Now, if you note, the bones actually turn green, and that lets us know that it's ready to animate. So I can simply rotate the arm here. And what the deformations are doing, if we look at the end of the elbow here, you can see how the arm is actually deforming. I'm going to zoom out. And if you ever want to change this, you can simply go back to the rigging area. And if we make this circle a little bit smaller, make our little articulator about half that size, and go back to our transform tool, we can see how that affects it. So I can go back to the rigging tool again. I'll make this the larger size. Go to transform, and we now have our arm doing what we needed it to do. Now I want to do one more example of working with the game bones, and I want to do this with the hair. So simply select the front hair here, and I'll go up to my deformation area, and I want to click Show Selected Deformation, because I don't want to look at the arm right now, but I do want to create a deformation for the hair. So I'll grab my rigging tool, and again, making sure I'm using game bones. So I'll start right at the barrette or the little hairband there. Come about to the middle and then right at the end. Now for this example, I'm going to click and drag out my articulator to be much larger. And the reason is I want it to have a more smooth bend or deformation once I start moving the hair. So if I go to the transform tool, we can see that I have a little more movement that I can give to the hair. Now go back up to my rigging tool, and I want to bring up one important point. Make sure when you're creating animations for games that you definitely use the game bone deformer and not any of the other deformation tools. The reason is game bones have been designed to take up less file space than the other articulations. So, to sum this up, game bone deformers can really help enhance the look of your animations without you having to add extra weight by creating new drawings. Just be sure you're using game bones and not regular bones.